Many thanks for staying with us still this morning on RTV, which you live from our Benin Network Center. Now we've been discussing with Emmanuel Obakole Esquire and Sunday Ibeku. And together we're looking at the struggle for and battle for freedom in the southeastern region of the country. Now, let's come back to you, Sunday. Do you think it's a means to cripple the commercial strengths of the southeastern region?
Well, in the first place, you have governors across that region. You also have this Ohanese group of a thing. And there are other Ipob prominent sons and daughters in that region. What are they doing on their own to ensure that peace is brought to that region? You know, in the home, when there is crisis, a smart father, what does he do? He looks at how the problem started and look for a solution, simple as that. What I expect them to do is this. They are in a position to meet those in power at federal level. Gentlemen, what is the issue? Remember, no man that will be so foolish, you want to make trouble when you don't have good reason. Now, like I earlier said, we are just pretending not to notice the obvious.
So what are the obvious?
The obvious is this. Remember, it was that region. Somebody came up and initiated the Nigerian Civil War. After the then Shagari government has said that we have forgiven those guys, but going by the political practices of our people over the years, there is an element of truth that they've not forgiven these guys. You can see recent development. This is not the point of whipping on political statement. No. Let us stay the facts as they are. And you can see how the development is going. And there are still some political forces who don't want anything presidential or whatever you may call it to come from that region. Remember how Kanu shed tears in the Senate. Yes, I got the message. You know, the easiest way you can carry anybody along is when you treat that individual or the groups fairly. And the most stupid mistake a leader can make is to deliberately provoke a particular ethnic group in a nation. Check out those countries that are still developed. Even in the United States of America, what happened? When the blacks are oppressed, you see the leadership coming out to say, no, don't do that. We are all Americans. Even you that went there, maybe for education, one or two things, if you are oppressed, the system will still come to your rescue. Look at the irony. In your own country, the system is even ready to oppress you. Then you are talking of a particular ethnic group that is so smart, so intelligent, that should have been a source of joy to this nation. Look at the way we are treating them. And you expect them to be happy. You really believe that these young men, they just want trouble. Okay, the major quarrel of that Kanu is that let us show or prove to us that we are part of this Nigerian nation. You are not doing that. Okay, you move. You are not moving. Let us go. You said no. My dear, even when you are walking on the path, when you see the person in front is not moving well, what happens? Please excuse me. This is the origin. You want to move faster.
Okay.
Yes, I believe this is the major reason these guys are saying.
Obakole Esquire, during the time of late President Musa Yar'Adua, when the Niger Delta region started the agitation, he brought them on board. They had dialogue and amnesty was given out. And that went, in a way, the region experienced a little peace or calmness during his time or through his time. And it actually transcended through Goodluck Jonathan's regime. Now, do you think this is what the government should do at this point? Bring these guys and talk it over?
In my introduction, I think I commented on the overriding prowess of late President Umar Yar'Adua. He's one president that Nigerians will live to remember for a very long time. You know, when you look at the complexity of Nigeria, you begin to wonder whether the crop of leaders we've had and the one we are having just now are really indeed ready to see how they can loosen that complexity. And to my mind, I think they have made it complex compound or compound complex, as the case may be. Now, taking a hint from former President late President Musa Yar'Adua, we saw how he was able to calm nerves in Niger Delta. First, the man brought them closer and asked, what is the agitation for? What is the problem? And they told him the problem. And the man saw reasons for that. And before you know, the Niger Delta Ministry, the Niger Delta Commission were created, and some of these guys were given opportunity to go and study. And they went to study. We saw something near it in the far north, particularly in Katsina State, where a sitting governor and a group of terrorists, even the terrorists were well armed. The military there was not armed. And after some time, we are made to understand. I watched the former secretary to the Katsina State government say, we gave them amnesty. Before you know it, they only collected money, came, got information, went back and started attacking us. But today we hear people call for amnesty for terrorists. We've heard it. But in this case, Musa Yar'Adua looked at it and said, okay, let us see what we can do. Now, at the campaign of the present governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Soludo, a man I respected so much, but just now, I don't think I have that degree of respect for him any longer.
Okay, there's a clip I would like us to quickly take a look at and see some of the happenings in that region, if that clip is ready. Okay.
July. Life is the today fourth. Morning. Burn everything. I don't want anything to remain. Burn it. Destroy them. Destroy everything. Destroy them. Destroy them. Sit at home. Nnamdi Kanu must be released.
Out that clip. Let's take your final thought.
You see, the man told us in his campaign that I am going to make Anambra the Dubai of Nigeria, all those empty promises. And there is an issue of insecurity. Okay. First, Anambra cannot become the Dubai of Nigeria without first solving the insecurity problem.
Soludo is a respected personality.
Looking before at his now,
pedigree,
before now,
former CBN governor.
Before now, but just now he's not.
He's lost
Without due respect to him, he's not, to my mind. So, when these people get to office, or offices, as the case may be, you begin to see them manifest different attributes. Look, in all of what is happening in the Southeast just now, to my mind, I think that is what I call contributory negligence. It's both at the federal and the state. And even if the federal is refusing to do something, the state governors should be able to call their boys and say, come, we are one. Okay, look at this picture. I saw one too, a teacher and pupils. And you lay the pupils on the ground and you began to flog them. You flog the teacher, a female teacher. And what do you want? What can be more worse than that? And yet, we have a commander-in-chief, we have governors who collect security votes. Come on.
All right,
I think there is problem somewhere.
Sunday Agbeku, do you think it's wise enough to destroy their own region? Because if you check out, these guys are from that region. Unlike in the northeast or the northern part of the country where there's an allegation that people come from Niger and other parts of Cameroon to attack them. But in the southeast region, it's strictly their people for their people by their people. So is it wise to destroy their own region?
I do not support the destruction of that region in the first place. And you must remember, when you give room to criminals to operate, they can go beyond what you ever imagined. Briefly, let me tell you what these guys want is just a political sense of belonging and also the opportunity to excel and create their region. In the case of the Niger Delta region, those guys were merely for economic reasons. When they started getting the money, the whole thing started going down. For your information, do you really think if the leadership both at federal and state, if they are sincere and do what is right, do you think these boys can be so stupid that they will want to continue with the destruction and all of that? The answer is no. But the unfortunate thing is that a black man has this problem. He won't address the basis. He won't do all this right. He keeps on blaming the other man. A white man is so white that if he's to handle this issue, first thing he will do, he will investigate. Yeah. And at the end of the day, where he can no ship ground, he goes ahead to do that. And before you know it, there is peace. Remember, you are dealing with human beings. Even animals, look at the dog we have in our home. There's a way you will behave to your dog, and your dog will be angry with you. But when you show your dog love, what happens? Your dog will become your good friend again. If we can do that to animals, then how come we can't do it to human beings? I don't 100% believe that those guys are just stubborn like that. The system cost it. Let us address that first.
Okay. Emmanuel Bapolo, trying to address the system and the whole issues, what do you think would be the impact of the sit-at-home order?
Economically, it has ruined the southeast region. Before now, Mondays are usually a very good day in the southeast region. I think I go to Asaba to do my matters. I go to as far as Ipob in Abakaliki to do matters. And I travel some of those days. But today, it's no longer like that. So economically, the southeast is done. And politically too, the southeast is done. The governors are only just pretending. There's nothing going on there politically. I think what these young men need is that they need political attention. And the governors have answers to that. So they should call them and say, okay, what do we do? How do we solve this situation? Thereafter, they can go to federal and relay the message to them. After all, governors like Governor Hope Uzodimma claim to be have a strong nexus with the federal. So he should use that privilege to see how he can resolve the political questions being asked by some persons in the southeast, and not to begin to raise shoulders high and say, oh, I have access to Aso Rock. I can go there in the morning. I can go there at noon. I can go there at twin light. I can go there at night. I can go there at midnight. The question is to do what? So they should sit down and begin to ask themselves questions and begin to see. It's not just being a governor, then you have fleet of escorts that accompany you, even when they're at this regime of subsidy removal. No, that is not the issue. Because one day you came to government house alone, you also leave government house alone. Okay.
All right, now, Sunday, take us through now. Governor Mba recently threatened to shut down schools and marketplaces complying with the sit-at-home order. Do you think it's a good step?
Well, I wouldn't blame him for taking that step. It shows he doesn't understand the challenges on ground.
You think so?
Yes, if he does. If he's going to further encourage more violence. Because this is a very sensitive issue. It's not the way you guys are saying it too. You know, from small crisis, you experience bigger ones. In fact, this guy doing all this, they are not from space, so they are their sons and daughters. Why can't he sit down, put ego, whatever settlements aside, put the fact that you are the governor, put that one aside. You will be surprised. These children will just tell you, sir, this is what we want. If you guys can do this, we'll lay down our arms. We have seen in other parts of the world something more dangerous than this. They were resolved. Who did it? Well, they're not humans. Why should our help be with the difference? It's just that we pretend not to see the fact as it stands. That's how I see it.
Okay,
I don't say anything that is not resolvable
We
here.
must start wrapping up now, but I would like you to help us out. Some analysts are saying the continuous detention of Nnamdi Kanu will further increase the level of unrest of Bapolo Esquire.
I agree absolutely with that. After all, the court has granted him bail. Why is the government disobeying the court order? And the same government will come and tell you every Tom, Dick, and Harry in Nigeria should obey law. When they themselves, they are law abusers. They abuse the law flagrantly. They abuse the law. So you think
he should be released?
He should. He has been granted bail. He should. We have terrorists who are moving free in the northern part of Nigeria. We have them. We saw terrorists taking photo shots with governors. When armed, AK-49, we saw it. In this country, what did the commander-in-chief do to those people? So why is it that a selected few, you will not be tormenting them, and you say they should keep quiet? They will not. So Nnamdi Kanu should be released. When I hear some Southeast governors say we have gone to beg the commander-in-chief, I say, why are you begging him? The young man has been granted bail. He should be released. The government should obey court order.
Okay. So once he's
released,
now
that will be calm.
Please.
We want this country. See, there can be no development if there is no peace.
Of course.
Okay.
That is the chloroquine bitter truth. So what they are pretending not to know, we know. And somebody should be able to tell them that, look, the direction people are going is unfair.
Okay, you share the same thought with Obakola Esquire.
Absolutely, 100%. Because the easiest way you can elicit the love and cooperation of your fellow human beings when you treat him fairly. The court has what? Released this guy. If there are still illegal, maybe one or two things still holding legally, then at least grant him freedom for now. But you are not doing it, you are still detaining the man. Here is a country, hardy criminals will be given the liberty to walk on the streets of this nation. You expect these people to be happy. How do we even reason? When I ask people, do we even know what we're doing? You are unjustly punishing people. When you want the people to be happy, my brother, pray not to be a victim. It is then you can better appreciate what I'm telling you. I'm telling now.
Sorry, sir. Is it not in this country we saw presidential pardon granted to a governor, former governor Joshua Dariye, Johnny Yami? Those who embezzled the state, who built the state, they were granted pardon. Why is the case of Nnamdi Kanu different?
It's a work in progress.
Somebody in prison will be free.
It's a work in progress.
The one thing, see, until we begin to tell those in authority the truth, Nigeria will remain on the standstill. We will not go anywhere. And that is why at times when I see our fathers, elders, begin to, they garnish lies. They give it the flavor of importance. They begin to do it as if, this thing is real, whereas this thing is in utopia. I begin to wonder where we are going.
But don't you think President Tinubu needed time to settle down before he would start diving into some of these sensitive issues?
Well, to an extent, I agree with you. Now, let me tell you, I sympathize with Nigerians and the president as well. This is my personal opinion. Okay. The way he's going about everything, I just pray they will not crash this country, because here is a country, you and I know, the heat we are already going through all round. And this issue, yes, it should be given at least a bit of time so that it can settle down and trade that. But I can tell you, a smart and a civilized president, knowing the usefulness of human's life, he will address it by not waiting for 1 year or 2 years to pass by. No, you are the father of the nation. A good father will not be happy when one of the children is missing. He will do everything.
It seems Obakola Esquire did agree with that idea of giving the president time.
I don't agree with giving him time.
To say 2 hours, 2 years,
on his day of swearing, he declared war of subsidy removal on all of us. Just now, I can see on your news crew that he has sent to National Assembly 500 billion for palliatives. How do we reason for goodness sake?
At least it will go a long way to cushion the effect.
Cushion what?
Less effect.
Is it not the living that I enjoy?
I don't understand. Because when you begin to, it's like placing the cat before the horse.
That's the, and we don't
that is
that.
The situation.
Okay.
Rescue people first.
I think just now, we are not begging them. Okay. They should obey court order.
Simple as that.
Position.
Okay, now you're speaking as a legal practitioner.
Apart from, no, let me fair. The court has, if you as a leader don't obey court order, where is your moral, your right to complain that the commoners on the street are not obeying the law? This is one of the reasons why the country is not moving forward.
All right, I think this is how far we can go. Thank you so much, Sunday Agbeko, for
coming. Good brother.
And always a pleasure having you.
Right.
All right, we'll take a short break now. And yes, Abuja Network Center is standing by to take us through the next phase of our discussion.